Petr Yan, who's going to try to make another case for himself to say, I just want to fight, bro. Give me somebody. And in the most dangerous of fashions, they give him the 35-year-old dude who in the bantamweight division might not have much time, but he's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. And the maniac, Marcus McGhee, is looking to steal a ranking right here. Talk to us about Marcus McGhee in this matchup right here, man. I think this dude is dangerous. He's got fantastic hands. And even though the numbers, AJ, let me pull up what the numbers are right here. Minus 400 for Yan, plus 285 comeback from McGhee, and that's actually trimmed. This was a larger number earlier in the week. I think he's much more live than what these numbers are indicating. What do you think?
Much more live, Derek. I know he's the older fighter too, but some ways that Marcus McGhee fights, he's explosive, man. He has the ability to close distance, hit you hard, especially very snappy shots. Yeah, I love his jab, bro. Very snappy jab, power in his strikes, uses the low kicks and the jabs to be able to get that work from the outside, and then get on the inside, land some power and glide out. Very beautiful boxing, very beautiful movement. And with a fighter that is Petr Yan and his opponent, who's going to be willing to engage with the kickboxing and kind of sit there and really let you get to work, Marcus McGhee has a chance to really put on a show and show how boxing can actually be put to work against somebody who's just going to stand there and let you do it.
Yeah, man. Good finish rate, solid hands. My only problem with McGhee, and it's not a problem per se in this matchup, maybe, but a tendency that I have noticed is that he does his best work. And this is not some unfamiliar thing, but he does his best work moving forward. When he's moving backwards, he doesn't have much output. He doesn't have much snap on his shot. So he's not that kind of fighter who can afford to just go backwards the whole time and get walked down. Petr Yan can walk you down. Generally, once he gets his reads and he finds his momentum, that's when he starts just walking you down relentlessly. And that's when he becomes the menace that we have known over the years as Petr Yan. But historically, it takes some time to download that data, to process. And that's where I think in a 3-round fight like this one right here, why Marcus McGhee is so live. Because if he can put numbers up, similar to what we were talking about last week for the Dan Ige fight with Pitbull, if you can put numbers up and you can overwhelm Petr Yan, and you can now all of a sudden going into the 3rd round, he's down 2 and he just has to get a finish. It's like, oh, I don't have 5 rounds to operate. I can't be an operator. You got to just go forward and you got to throw right here. When we're looking at significant strikes landed per minute, this is going to be a little bit misleading as well, but McGhee does throw, man. Look at that. 6 significant strikes landed, 49% accuracy. Petr Yan, 5, 60% accuracy, which is, as you could tell, man, he's very methodical, very technical and mechanical when he throws. And I mean that in all of the best ways, but I just don't know if he will have time to be that Petr Yan that we know and love in this 3-round fight, unless he's risking losing his number. What do you think?
Yeah, he's going to have to risk it, Derek, because Petr Yan is not the fastest starter out there. I like him for how technical and how much he's able to evolve his style of fight in a fight, like literally in the middle of it. He's able to make his reads and go to work. But you're right. His does his best work when he's being the bully, when he's on that downhill slope. It's later in the rounds. You're tired, and then he's able to really put it to work. But with the way that Marcus McGhee, man, the way he's going to be starting this fight, I can see a lot of money, or at least the potential to make a lot of money on that plus 285 comeback that he is.
Now, don't get me wrong, man. I'm not saying this is like a lock. This is a Marcus McGhee best bet lock of the week type situation. I just like his chances because Petr Yan notoriously finds himself in close fights. In a close fight, anything can happen. And who knows? Maybe they say, listen, we know the UFC is a machine. I'm not saying anything is rigged, but I do think storylines get followed, and people with a little bit more juice in that narrative sometimes get the nod when maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they say Marcus McGhee is on a limited time frame. We got to get him a dub. But listen, it all going to be dependent on how close of a fight this is going to be. Look at the streak right here, man. 6-fight win streak right here for McGhee. Last couple, though. Let's just compare resumes. You can't really compare resumes, man. But Petr Yan, if you're looking at it, dog, just a hit list, man. Let's just go from 2020. Aldo, Sterling, Sandhagen, Sterling, O'Malley, Marab, Song Yadong, and Davison Figueiredo. There's not a name on Marcus McGhee's resume that could even compare to any one of those fighters right here. So this is obviously the biggest fight of his career. But I just want to take notice of these two things, which is why, even though I think that McGhee is live, I think Petr Yan is a little disrespected in the narrative. Clearly not in the numbers because he's minus 400. But Jonathan Martinez, fantastic kicker with not great boxing, but he has devastating kicks. And the kicks set up the hands. He got his kicks taken away. McGhee won the fight. Easy decision right there. Gaston Bolaños, big power puncher. Again, big kicks set up the hands. He got knocked out in his fight. JP Buys clearly was not a UFC contender when he fought him, but he did get the rub, and that was a good knockout. This is not that style of fight. Petr Yan is not a kicker. He is a boxer primarily right here. So hand for hand, let's be real, man. Let's talk about the numbers and the picks. How you see it?
Hand for hand, Derek, I see Petr Yan winning the majority of the outcomes, right? Of the exchanges, right? I do see Marcus McGhee hitting him up, touching him up a couple times, but how Petr Yan fights and how mean he is in the cage, it's another style of animal in there who's really able to put together the ones and twos, and he does it better, if not almost better than every single person that enters the octagon with him. So I see Petr Yan winning 8 out of the 10 every time they exchange, and I think he can walk away with this fight in a multitude of different facets.
Yeah, man. I think that Marcus McGhee is going to have to be crazy. He's going to have to expose himself to a lot of danger right here, because if he gets too close and finds himself in a clinch, I think Yan is a better clinch fighter. Great Greco kind of like throws right there, but more important, those tie trips that he has out of that clinch. I think I mean, Petr Yan is nasty. What did he do in that Davison Figueiredo fight, man? He had a nasty highlight trip in that one where, look, he tried to use grappling. Figueiredo tried to use grappling to nullify Yan, and this is some of the stuff Yan can turn around and do. So you have to fight Yan on every front, and I think it's going to be too many fronts for Marcus McGhee to be able to get past, but I do think he is live. For that reason, I'm going to roll with, and let's talk about the total 2.5 rounds right here. Over is minus 280, plus 220 for the under right here. Safe pick right here, AJ. I think it's safe to say Petr Yan for the consensus pick right here. I think that Petr Yan is a fantastic parlay piece that you can add to a couple different things, but I would not bet him standalone. If you want to bet something here, I think over 2.5 rounds is absolutely the play right here, even at minus 280. What do you think?
Yeah, and if you can get it in at minus 280, if you're finding places like that, that's going to be the case to take that, because that is not going to be around that bet long term going forward, folks. I agree with Derek. Petr Yan is the pick, not the bet, unless you are looking for a parlay right here. But we'll see him get it done. I do think he's going to be faster, better, and more precise in this fight.
That's it. Petr Yan, no mercy, looking to find his way back to a title shot. We'll see if he can get it done.